Thank you for joining. This live video is about Zen practices, not just practices though, but also quotes from Shunryu Suzuki. As soon as you see something, you already start to intellectualize it. As soon as you intellectualize something, it is no longer what you saw. When you feel the oneness of everything, you naturally don't want to harm anything. Leave your front door open and your back door open. Allow your thoughts to come and go, just don't serve them tea. Wherever you are one with the clouds and one with the sun and the stars you see. You are one with everything. That is more true than I can say and more true than you can hear. When you practice Zazen, just practice Zazen. If enlightenment comes, it just comes. Zazen is a activity that is an extension of the universe. Zazen is not the life of an individual, it's the universe that's breathing. Zazen practice is the direct expression of our true nature. Strictly speaking, for a human being, there is no other practice than this practice. There is no other way of life than this way of life. Zen is not a particular state, but the normal state, silent, peaceful, unagitated. In Zazen, neither intention, analysis, specific effort, nor imagination take place. It's enough just to be, without hypocrisy, dogmatism, arrogance, embracing all opposites. Zazen is seated meditation, the opposite of contemplation, the emptying of the mind of all thoughts in order to simply be. In the midst of all evil, not a thought is aroused in the mind. This is called Za, seeing into one's self-nature, not being moved at all. This is called Zen. Zen mind, beginner's mind. The teaching which is written on paper is not the true teaching. Written teaching is a kind of food for your brain. Of course, it is necessary to take some food for your brain, but it is more important to be yourself by practicing the right way of life. In Koi Fresco's book, The Meditation Manual, Chapter 7, Zazen, Meditation, on a final meditative note, we reach Zazen, or the Zen method of meditation. This is the shortest, most obscure method of meditation compared to the rest of our practices. According to many Zen masters over the last few thousand years, it creates the wisest of souls who can awaken at any moment, but that such an awakening is not something one who practices Zazen can predict or plan for. Zazen translates directly to sitting meditation, and that alone is what Zen meditation is. As we spoke of before, the deepest layer of meditation is that of pure consciousness, which is true silent self. Zen does not feed into the idea of souls or of any of the prior meditative practices. It doesn't even entertain the idea of souls as something that might exist. On the simplest of all levels of Zen cares about is understanding that there is one mind and that is all of reality. It is not in any way, shape, or form consciously aware. It simply is pure awareness. Thus we are as well. So if this space does not exist and cannot be accessed, why practice Zen? This is why many spiritualists may find Zen a ridiculous practice due to having no fruits or ways of benefiting the ego self, which oddly enough is exactly why people do it. Zen exists for the purpose of dropping our roles and sinking into the same awareness we've held before taking up the human form. Silence. We don't experience Zen. We don't get anything from it unless our ego self incorrectly perceives an experience as ours. Instead, we just sit just to sit. We allow the mind to go blank with no ulterior motive, which is something most people rooted in their identity can never or would never want to do. An eternal moment. How to practice Zazen. Sit down and get comfortable. As always, comfort provides less distraction. In Zazen, this is done most commonly with the meditator sitting on a small rounded cushion. Sit about 1 foot from the nearest wall and face towards it. While not fully necessary to practice meditation method, it is most popular method using currently in Zen monasteries, since it was introduced by Bodhidharma, the first patriarchs of the Chinese religion. Those who turn from delusion back to reality, who meditate on walls, the absence of self and other, who remain unmoved even by scriptures, are in complete and unspoken agreement with reason. Reason in this sense is expressed as middle ground within the mind as upekkha, or equanimity, a peace of mind, as it translates from Pali. The wall we sit in front of stands straight, unmoving, unflinching, in its ability to be as it is, and although our eyes will be closed, by sitting directly in front of the wall, we know that as we sit, our reflection of allowing the mind to be free and reside in an unflinching state of peace exists too, in the sturdiness of the wall directly in front of us. Empty the mind and allow thoughtlessness to fill you. When returning, don't let don't let ego judge your session. From here, all we do is sit. I'll allow thoughts to come and go until thoughtlessness becomes our reality, and we may sit with it for hours on end. This is all Zazen is, sitting, watching, allowing thoughtlessness to be what we are. But for those who just can't seem to shake the thoughts, a great method for beginners is by thinking of what thoughtlessness would be like. In essence, using reverse psychology in our mind to instantly initiate a Fox thoughtless experience just to get a tiny taste of it so that we can return sitting and allowing such a state to eventually appear on its own. Don't think about it, just practice, then move on. Open your eyes after about an hour of meditating or however long you felt like sitting, and simply stay with the upekkha as you return to your identity and the tasks you have in the real world. This is how Zazen over years can fully rewire the mind of its practitioner. Over decades, it potentially allows one to easily enter a state of nirvana or a space of living without any form of suffering whatsoever. For if we are just here, unmoving in our awareness, yet loving, in time we see the moving current of existence itself. And when we see this in every moment, our practice of Zazen reminds us never to attach or expect anything from it. This is the beauty of Zazen. Sit and become as stable as the wall, for as it is often said in the Soto practice, Zen is. So we will leave it at that. If you want koans, etc., go to my Instagram, Dallas Tyler Ford, and there's a highlight called Shun Ryu, which has koans, paragraphs, etc., and other teachings. We're all just caught in the delusion, all of us caught in the illusion, being aware of it as illusion, yet so much in it. If you have ever watched a beautiful Zen monk, a very old monk, who is really here or really there, whichever, you watch him. He's cooking food, he's lifting stones, he's moving. You watch him walk, and it's like nobody's walking. The legs are going, and the whole thing is happening, but nothing is happening, no matter what is happening. And that's what blows your mind when we get out of the kinds of heads we've got going that doesn't allow us to really understand how this can be. When you have quieted your mind enough and transcended your ego enough, you can hear how it really is. So, when you are with a candle flame, you are the candle flame. And when you are with another being's mind, you are the other being's mind. When there is a task to do, you are the task. Nothing is happening, no matter what is happening. Nirvana is where you are, provided you don't object to it. I mean, if we really saw that it was all an illusion, we'd all be happy in our big dream. When death comes, it's just like winter. We don't say, there ought not to be winter, that the winter season, when the leaves fall and the snow comes, is some kind of defeat, something which we should hold out against. No, winter is part of the natural course of events. No winter, no summer, no cold, no heat. Life is eternal, and love is immortal, and death is only a horizon, and a horizon is nothing save the limit of our sight. We shouldn't underestimate the power of practice, especially consistent day by day, whatever the weather practice. With moving Zen, we come to a basic sense of responsibility for this life by noticing its basic nature and inherent interconnectedness. With mindful walking, it is not about going somewhere, it is about being somewhere. This day of being blessed by blessing, being honored by honoring, being loved by loving, I awaken. Not knowing the full outcome of my efforts, I will be generous, resilient, and creative in my service, and work to benefit life and relieve suffering. Layman Pang, who often appears in koan collections, once said, "Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it marvelous? I chop wood and carry water. The undivided life of all beings I vow to taste, appreciate, and continue it with wisdom and compassion." That sparseness in your plain heart, just put your trust right there and live. aka in every moment we have everything we need to realize it. Dig into boundless mind with Zazen and don't wait to feel some other way in order to sit down in the center of your life. The world is vast and wide. Why put on your robe at the sound of a bell? LOL, uncanny trust, this koan expresses. The result is not the point. It is the effort to improve ourselves that is valuable. There is no end to this practice. Hope you guys like this video. Much love.